Patagonia, 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 we love you.
Alright, so I have to tell you something you never imagined before. These are hard times. Do you know this? Okay, we all know this. These are the hardest times ever. Did you ever expect this? No, actually, we didn't. Can I tell you something? It has been always happening throughout life. Everybody had these very difficult times, not just moments or days or hours or months, years. Big crises that fill your life and you cannot really do anything about it and you have to handle every day. Now, the big problem this year is there's nowhere to run because everybody around you is involved. Everybody is impacted. It's the whole world. That's the beauty of I'm not turning religious because I did a million mistakes and I'm still doing mistakes all the time. But that's this beautiful thing. لا ملجأ من الله إلا إليه. So there's no way to escape except going back to God and accepting and thinking that it's gonna pass. If it doesn't pass, I'm gonna do my best and that's it. But that's not the time to tell you big words. It's a time for another song, and that's Patagonia too. So how are you? Tell me all about you. How are things going? What are you doing to fill your time? Are you reading? Are you tired of reading? Are you scared? Are you tired of being scared? We're human, by the way. You can go through everything, and that's the beauty of life. One thing we keep reminding ourselves with every moment in time: managing expectations. When you just manage as much as you can and the expectations go all the way, what if I'm gonna die? Okay, no problem at all. I'll try to do my best. Okay, if I'm gonna die in 2 days from now or in 2 hours from now, can I do something good? Can I do something bad? And then, okay, repent and ask for forgiveness. It's gonna be too short. Let's try to do good things, at least for a while, and enjoy and ask about our friends and talk about nice things as much as we can and remember good memories. There are a million things you can do, by the way, when things are really going wrong. At least like prayers, at least like being optimistic, at least like handling, trying, remembering what happened before, good things, a million things. But we usually choose the difficult things. And it's still a beautiful night. And it's Patagonia too. So I lost lots of business these days. It's normal. Consultants usually pay the biggest price in times of hardships and so on because factories and businesses do not want to pay in consulting. So they simply go for like the basic stuff and so on, if they go for the basic stuff even. So you expect this. And like I'm going to tell you a strange story that happened. So a big contract opened up, a big door opened up. And I started working on it only one day. And that day we did a certain exercise, which was a huge thing. And then this contract ended. The guy who was the big guy behind this contract died, actually. So the whole business stopped. And I kept thinking, what was the goal? What was the message from God? There's always a message in everything I do. And then 2 weeks later, I was working on something and a friend comes by, or a customer, Yani, and then he asked me, like, can we work on a certain project together? And the starting point is exactly what I've done on this day. So you think, okay, maybe that's it. Sometimes we try to find the reasons. We keep contemplating and thinking about things, but there are lots of reasons. Nothing happens without a reason. Everything has a cause, and it's still a beautiful night, and it is Patagonia too. And I read it a lot nowadays on Facebook and on social media and so on. Everybody's going to be looking at you, and once this is over, they're going to ask you, like, what went wrong? Why did you go so bad? They're never going to forgive you for whatever you've done wrong and so on. And I'm going to tell you, no. One of the beauties of life is forgiveness and forgetting. We forget everything because we're human. There were times I was so mad from certain people and so on. Then times passed and I saw them and I just said hi, hello, and I give them a hug, okay? Hugs are not very easy nowadays, but anyhow, but that was it. As simple as that. You forget. So don't like what I'm asking you to do always, not only in times of crises, every time of life, not to say insults, not to go so ugly, not to lose your temper a lot, whether good or bad, because that's what makes us human. People really like show their real quality in hard times. I'm talking a little bit slower tonight because lots of people are telling me be slow as much as you can, and I hate it because when you're running, when you're so active and so on, you stop thinking, and that's one of the things I always look for. I don't want to think too much. The windmills of my mind are killing me, guys, and it's still a beautiful night. Somehow, don't ask me how, it's Patagonia too. So what stops you from learning from your mistakes? What stops you from simply telling someone, I'm sorry, I was totally wrong. I'm going to change my direction right now. I'm going to do something totally different. You're right. What stops you from doing that? Especially if you're going so wrong, so down, so dirty, you're losing a lot. People are making fun of you. They don't respect you anymore. You're humiliated. What makes you continue not accepting your own mistakes? Vanity? Awareness? What's the story? It's this like personal ego thing. That's terrible. I want you one day to think of life without having the ego. I have it, by the way, and I try to get rid of it whenever I can. Whenever there's a situation, I simply say, okay, guys, I'm sorry. I stop. Simple as that. Because otherwise, you're going to go too far, too down. You're never going to come back once again. That's not an advice. It's just like a story I've been through. A beautiful night. Somehow. Patagonia too. And then I learned not to embarrass people. There are situations where there was this great guy. He called me and then he said, like, there's another guy. He's head of a big company and they want to start business and so on. And they want you to work with them on consulting and so on. I love that. Okay, God, that's great. Oh my God. I'm in a very difficult time right now. So many contracts being cancelled. So it's a great opportunity. Okay, so and then they vanish for a couple of weeks, and then the guy comes back again, and he says, the guy himself, the head of the company, he says, let's meet and so on. And I say that's great, thank God and so on. And then we meet, and once we meet, I realize, okay, he tells me that he already left the company because of all of the problems happening nowadays and so on. And he's just like introducing himself to me, and I felt one of two things. Okay, frustration because like I was looking for business, and number two, well, it's good that the guy wasn't like, okay, he didn't tell me straightforward from the beginning, it's not about the business anymore, it's dead, so I just want to talk to you and so on. But then he's human, and once we started talking, I opened up and I let him like say whatever he has. And so he simply like opened up and he says he's desperate for a job and so on. I told him I cannot do anything right now in this, but we can work together on something and so on. And I was thinking I was going to kill the guy in the first minute, but then I thought, we're human. And if he just reaches out to me because he needs support and he doesn't feel that like awkward with me, I like that. That's good. We're looking for becoming more human all the time. And if I do it for someone, somebody's going to do it for me one day. It's Patagonia too. So I started recently allowing comments from people I don't know, public comments on Facebook videos when I go live and so on. And it's a story. And I was doing this thing about management, mainly about all the crises Al Ahli Club is in recently, and about the COVID thing and how the country can handle it better from my very modest experience as a consultant. And I opened up, and then the very first thing, and everybody knows how ugly it's going right now in the club and so on, from different perspectives. But anyway, I was talking management, and I was actually giving solutions. But before I even start talking, somebody writes down there, you are angry and mad, and you're doing this because you hate them because they did not include you in their team for the elections. And I couldn't help but laughing. I talked to the guy openly while being live, and I said like, Actually, they did not get rid of me. I got rid of them. I told them, no, guys, I don't want to be with you. So whoever has this anger wouldn't be me. It would be them. Number two, I'm giving the solution. I'm not saying bad things about them. Don't you listen? Don't you read? Don't you think? Don't you take a deep breath and count from 1 till 75 until you feel, okay, I'm normal? This guy is saying something different compared to what I have in mind. What's the story, guys? That's why I usually don't like people to comment whom I don't know, because they usually attack. There are other ways of people attacking. I'm going to tell you about this, but another song coming your way, Patagonia 2. So I have this friend, and whenever I write anything like a bit like pro the government, pro the country, she attacks heavily. Starting point is attacking very tough. And then we have a private discussion inbox. And then she's always attacking. But then I start attacking back. And then she calms down. And then I tell her, did you read totally? Did you notice that I said so and so? We're not saying something different, by the way. I'm saying the good and the bad and so on. But it's always like this. It's always a starting point. Somebody telling you, you're ugly, everything is terrible, they have to go to hell, all of them. And then when they start discussing, you realize they never read a word you wrote or listened to a word you said. And you ask them, why do you do that? And it's a way of like making sure they're going to get your attention. It happened with me like 10 times last week, guys. Whenever, because I'm going more public nowadays after my long holiday in Ramadan, I wasn't going on social media. So whenever I say something, somebody attacks you straight away. And then you respond, I'm like Battut, Donald Duck. I respond straight away. So I tell him, no, actually you're wrong because so. And the first response always comes, I'm so happy you replied to me. I really love you, man. You're a great guy. And oh my God. Do you have to start the bad way? It works, but I think I'm going to stop responding to these people who provoke me. But I cannot do that. It's Patagonia 2. And again, I end where I started. It's difficult. It's going to be difficult, but that's life. And God never gives us something we cannot really handle. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. So we are up to it, definitely. It's going to take some time, needs some effort, needs some solid hearts and minds and souls and sticking together. But it's going to pass. Take my word. It's going to pass. Everything's going to pass. Even if I die. Somebody else is going to come and tell you, now this guy was right. It's going to pass. Maybe it's not going to pass for me. Maybe passing for me is dying. Maybe passing for somebody else is really becoming so successful or handling everything difficult that happens, comes to you, your way, or whatever. But it's going to pass, inshallah. Have a lovely night. My name is Khaled Habib, and that was Patagonia 2. And stay tuned. It's a beautiful night, and enjoy the night.